Yeah, definitely. Hammer of Justice onto Relza into a full polymorph once again, making a swap on Tony. He gets cycloned. Elslave's in trouble at the same time. Tessia gets put into the stun. This could be the second ice block. Oh, big heal incoming there by Relza. That was a great alter time. I do think Tessia interrupted, though, just constantly under fire. Pressure heavily in favor of Drive Overload. They haven't even forced a single ice block, and that's the second of Tessia. Drive Overload definitely in the driver's seat of this matchup. So far, it's been a struggle for Streamer Zone to really find pressure. Tessia's having to play so defensive, and TJ is looking to just end this game outright.
He's trying to drop an ice wall. He isolates TJ right here. But can they get anything done with it? The bash onto TJ. He can't go anywhere. JT now caught into a hodge, pushing forward. And it looks like he is going to stabilize TJ with that survival instincts for now. But TJ's still really low. He's got to be careful. Land hands available for JT. He's going to drop that hodge onto Relza. Tessia looking to get a follow-up. Nope, not just yet. He's just still positioned very defensively. With no ice blocks available to him, it's really hard to get offensive. The Shimmer, he's back out into the middle of the map. He has that alter time for a little bit longer, but he's got to be so scared. No sacrifice available, no bubble available, and he just goes down. Streamer Jones GG is going to lose the mirror matchup in game number 1.
Yeah, Drive Overload just looked better in this one. I mean, just look at damage as well. TJ just gapping Tony. Elsewave just completely, almost doubling the damage of Tessia. So it seemed like their crowd control setups were better. Their damage was better. Drive Overload had a really dominant performance in this game number 1. It was a bit of a mage race, but ultimately they weren't able to pull a single ice block from Elsewave.
Yeah, it was a pretty convincing performance. You know, I was talking up Tessia before the game started, just talking about how we've been seeing this guy on this mage forever. But Drive Overload, they're showing us right now why they are the seed that they are. Their performance and their flexibility is really, really good. And also to be able to come up into a mirror matchup against Tony, Feral, and Tessia and Relza on that Holy Paladin is quite a big deal. And, you know, it was relatively convincing from the very beginning. Cooldowns were just being forced throughout, and it just didn't seem like Streamer Zone GG was able to get a footing to swap that momentum around ever. It was just always on the back foot for them.
Yep, from start to finish on the back foot. Unfortunately, there was a few moments Tessia tried to pull out some cheeky ice walls, and we've seen that from him in the past. Some really good ice walls, just trying to get TJ in a stun lock where he has no trinket, and maybe pull off kind of a, not a cheese win, but you know, a little bit more of an unorthodox setup here. And I do wonder I kind of wonder where the damage was going. It did seem like Streamer Zone, they didn't have as solid of a game plan. I like the idea sometimes of just keeping the strategy relatively simple, just focusing on going after the mage, getting crowd control on the healer. That's about as simple as it gets. And I think if you can just focus on that, you know, maybe get some off cyclones on the Feral, counter spells on his cyclones, make sure that you really can't get too much going on. I just like that strategy, and I want to see Streamer Zone kind of focus on that more.
Definitely. You know, I saw a lot of trades going out, keeping Tessia alive, but he was never... It was just, look at that downward rotation of his health. His health was never really, like, we're starting at the top of the graph at 60%. When you're hovering at like half health the whole game, it's really hard to be confident enough to get in there and get the damage done. And you could see it on the board. The damage for the opposing mage just had momentum from start to finish. But regardless, they're going to stick with the same composition. They're going to say, you know, that was rather a fluke. We can figure this out, and we can get this guy. Or I'm sorry, the winners of the last game, they're sticking with the same composition.
Something really big and
I mean,
hard
that looks like a relatively dominant performance. But Tolvaron Arena, is that any sort of foreshadowing for a comp swap, Ben?
I think it's unlikely. I think we'll probably just see the mirror. And the biggest reason I think it's going to be a mirror is just Relza opting to not play the Priest. So the fact that he isn't playing kind of the more comfort pick of the Priest and opting to play that Paladin just makes me feel like they probably feel like just mirroring them is going to be their best bet. But the mirrors have not been going in their favor. Drive Overload's been looking incredibly good with this composition.
People went down with me. I was a maiden for long.
They're kind of playing catch up here. Like, they're just trying to find their footing in this matchup. It's like you mentioned, they're an incredible team. They're incredible players, but it just shows you how good Drive Overload is.
Very nice.
Absolutely. Tilveron Arena is an interesting choice in my mind. You were talking a little bit about like the ice wall play, like isolating TJ. It was interesting because TJ he knew he had the momentum. He pushed forward. He was getting that damage out, but he like that overextension was kind of punished a little bit. That was like the slight light at the end of the tunnel for that team in terms of a win condition that I saw. So maybe on Tilveron Arena they could try to capitalize a little bit more on those overextensions. That's the only thing that really can come to my mind. But from, I don't know, Streamer Zone GG, they just came off of a pretty intense series back-to-back, perhaps getting their mind back up into this matchup now. An FMP Mirror is quite a different play style than they were used to going up against, Corky on that Boomkin. But Drive Overload, they want to get back into the grand finals. They want to show Echo that they are here to compete. I mean, they just got 3-0'd by Echo, so if I was Drive Overlords, I'd be interesting to show that I am capable of getting back into that grand finals. Oh, taking a look at the predictions. Oh man, you are going with Streamer Zone GG being 3-1. Yeah, how do you feel about your prediction now, man?
After watching that first game, I'm feeling a bit sketched out about my prediction. I actually had it the opposite way, and then to the last second, I was like, I'm just going to go against the grain and just go for the Hail Mary. But
it can still happen, man.
I actually have a really bad habit of doing that sometimes, where I just want to root for the underdog and go for the low percentage play.
I respect it so much, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't work out for me though. My standings aren't looking so good, unfortunately. I think I just need to.
Man, I'm not even on the board. Okay, I don't know if you saw my spell predictions or like my trivia stuff, but I'm struggling, man. I need this. But so far it's looking good for me. Though I really do think that just some small change-ups and this could be a completely different matchup.
I agree. I think just keep it simple. That old keep it simple, stupid kiss, and I think that's sometimes what you need to do. Just have a strategy, stick to the strategy, see if it works. You don't need to get too fancy. And I think a lot of the times in World of Warcraft, especially in Arena, it's just like it's having that strategy you can stick to, you can always default back to. That's the goal of everyone on the team. I really just want to see it. So go after the mage, keep him in stuns, get crowd control on the healer, do as much damage as possible, and I think that seems to be the winning strategy. That's at least what Drive Overload is doing, and it's been working out great for them so far.
Yeah, I always say a good defense is a strong offense, and especially with a matchup like this, I think momentum is such a big deal. You have a Holy Paladin, though, that can kind of reset a lot with their big defensive cooldowns, but Blessing of Protection being a big one to remove all those dots from the Feral Druid can easily get spell stolen by the mage on either team. So there's a lot that can get done. I want to see Streamer Zone GG try to get aggressive and try to get that momentum in their favor, even when pushed on the back foot, and just kind of have that faith in their healers to trade. I just feel like when you're trying to bring it out to a late game, you could find some more opportunities like that ice wall on TJ. You could do that, but when you're so far behind, those opportunities are so few and far between. It's a hard thing to do, but every single global, especially in the early game, matters as a momentum starts to shift in one team's favor or the other. Tilveron Arena, a bigger map, is going to kind of give a little bit more breathing room for kiting. I'm going to see how that kind of translates to this matchup.
I'm kind of curious to see if there's any big build differences between these two teams. I'll have to take a look at that a little bit later on. Looks like Elsewave will be the main target. He trinkets immediately, so not messing around. Tessia is going to be doing the same thing. Both mages just not wanting to fall behind in terms of pressure and damage. Good rock cleave here for Streamer Zone. JT's going to have to pull out some heals. He's caught into a stun, but likely will be able to top off the team. The wings coming out, empowering his heals, and they're looking good. JT actually went into a polymorph, but he was just standing on all the fire and ice that Tessia has out. All that cleave damage just breaks the polymorph, and unfortunately, they're really not able to capitalize.
Yeah, they win him with a main. Oh my gosh, big damage, and the Elsewave is going to force that block. And Streamer Zone GG, they are not messing around in game number 2. They see that they need to get something done, and everyone seems to be rotting down. JT now caught into a full Cyclone. Elsewave, he's not able to block for just a little while longer. He's got to be a bit careful, and he's just blinking all over the place to make sure that this Feral Druid cannot connect. Tony caught into that Cyclone to stop some of this damage over onto Elsewave. Nice job by TJ to get that off. Counterspell's going out onto TJ to kind of slow down those Cyclones. Now Hodge onto him as well. He's taking a bit of damage, but
Ice
Tony
wall,
is
nice.
Ice wall. Is this going to be the next ice block already? Oh my gosh, solid ice wall out from Tessia. Both teams looking for opportunities to get these cooldowns.
Yeah, JT got there, though, for the lay on hands, and Tessia is playing this one phenomenally. Looks like a little bit of a swap here on Tony. They realize they're behind on the mage race, so mixing up the strategy, but I really like this Streamer Zone. They're just sticking to the plan, go after Elsewave. They got one ice block, almost getting two, or just taking Elsewave down. You can see JT right now in a good position to just bomb out some heals in the backline. Tessia potentially going to be looking for a polymorph here shortly if he can find it. Shimmering over, getting in line of sight. Can he get it? No, a full Mame Stun lands, and one key adaptation in this match is Tessia actually has gone Orc, so opting to get off of the Dwarf to remove bleeds and just doesn't want to be in those stuns nearly as much.
I like that, and I like that it kind of complements the new strategy of just playing really aggressive. It feels like bash on the JT, Mame on the Elsewave. Can Tony follow it up? He gets the full clone. Elsewave in a bit of trouble. That's going to force the trinket from JT. Another button forced. Now they're swapping the damage over on the Tony. He was a little bit overextended. He's going to catch that bop and catch a big heal and should be okay. This is Incarnation from Tony, but he's still in a lot of trouble behind the pillar. That's Feral Instincts. That's Barkskin. That's a lot of buttons off of this Feral Druid. Now Relza in a full polymorph. I'm not sure if Barkskin's going to be enough to keep Tony aggressive. It looks like it is for now, because Tessia is the one who's on the back foot. He gets caught in that Hodge, dipping down, and Streamer Zone GZ, they want to get aggressive, but they just seem to not be able to. Tony's caught at low health yet again, cloned up at half health at this time, and Drive Overload. I love to see that they take the opportunities of these overextensions to kind of switch it up, the momentum in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. Bash right now onto Relza. Tessia taking some rot, but a full stun lands. Tony looking for a Cyclone, but unfortunately gets denied. Ice Wall from Tessia once again, but that is going to be shredded. Just casting in those Frostfire bolts. He gets a full polymorph on JT. So use the Ice Wall to bait JT to run in, then get the full polymorph. He's in a full bash, but Elsewave has great positioning right now. It's going to be line of sighting and should be completely fine. Great counterspell there by Tessia, and I will say Tessia is playing this one super aggressively. Like, he is just in Elsewave's face, and they've kind of even just abandoned going after the mage, which is really interesting here. Opting a lot more for Tony. TJ's rotting down. Great pressure for Streamer Zone. That's a full polymorph, and that could be the game, or at least an ice block if Elsewave is not careful. Be really, really careful, but pulling away behind the pillar, looks like they will be able to recover. JT gets Tears Deliverance, and that's going to be a lot of healing.
It's crazy how this game just get like flipped on its head at just like a moment's notice, and a Hodge or a Mame stun. TJ caught into that full Mame, should be a-okay for now. JT though, he's rooted basically in a vulnerable position, and both of these teams at any given moment, at any given Hodge, can easily just lose all the momentum that they're gaining. Tony again pushing forward, trying to get on top of Elsewave behind of line of sight. He's got to be careful, though. He's got no skins available to them. Hand of Sacrifice is going to be committed right away. This is the Icy Veins from Tessia. He wants to get some work done. He gets bopped on it. Elsewave looking for a polymorph. They lands it full onto JT into the Dragon's Breath. This is Incarnation for TJ. He's trying to swap it around onto Tessia. He still has both his ice blocks available to him, though. It looks like he's going to be completely fine. Relza pushing in, or I'm sorry, Relza pulling back. It's sitting in a much better position as JT right now, but the momentum is currently in their favor, in Drive Overlord's favor. We're going to see. I like that they're hitting Relza more. I like that they're putting pressure onto these Holy Paladins and just spreading out that dot pressure. It just gives them so much more opportunities, and it helps these Paladins fall behind more and more and more, and it just makes these hard swaps possible. So that's a nice block for Tessia. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was really close. Hammer Justice on Relza. They have pressure on all three members. Elsewave drops that beautiful wall. Tony's isolated. He gets around the corner, though, and Relza will be able to connect some heals, but he has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Relza is really struggling to keep them alive. Pressure is high. Tessia looking for a full polymorph. That is going to break. Sacrifice did. No, I don't know what broke that polymorph. It's really unfortunate. They're not going to be able to ride that momentum, and Tessia will eat a stun once again. Look at Relza. He's using this pillar perfectly to avoid crowd control. Lands a full Hammer of Justice. JT trinkets out immediately to land a counter Hammer of Justice into Repentance, and that could seal the deal. Relza's still in crowd control. Tessia's there. He finally lands a full polymorph. They're trying to make a swap, but Tony's under pressure. He just cannot get the damage rolling. This is just such a back and forth matchup.
Dude, that was crazy. TJ got bopped out of that Mame, and Tessia just took it and took all their bleeds off of him. It just ruins all momentum that they have. Being able to, all of these different mechanics that are going on can just really change things up. Tessia in a lot of trouble right now. He's trying to get aggressive. He has Hand of Sacrifice on him, but he gets the Ice Wall, isolating JT. What can they get done onto TJ? TJ is going to go ahead and use the Survival Instincts as well as Heart of the Wild to stay in it.
Clone.
But now JT is cloned at half health with Sacrifice. Tony could just go down. Relza not not in any CC, but it doesn't matter. Bash into human form to follow it up. Wings is going to keep him okay. Tony wants to end the game on to TJ. He gets caught in a bop. He's so confident, and pushing in like this is just so scary to watch.
Yeah, it really is. Full polymorph lands on Relza. He immediately uses the medallion to break free from that crowd control. And now it's Tessia in a Hammer of Justice just taking cleave damage. Elsewave just absolutely owning. Polymorph into Frostwall. And it looks like Tony or Tessia could fall. Relza just cannot control his character. This could easily be the end of the game. Do they have anything else on Relza? He's trying to run. He's on his Divine Steed, his Divine Ram on that dwarf, just trying to get out of the fight. Tony goes for a maim into a full cycle, and this could reverse the pressure. Can they win? I mean, TJ, he's preemptively in bear form. He trades out the bark skin. I think he should be more than durable to survive. Really good job there by TJ, just mitigating that incoming damage with the full stun lands in cat form. There is opportunities. Both these mages just ripping out damage. Icy Veins available in 40 seconds. The next Icy Veins for these two mages is the end of the game. I almost guarantee it.
I can see that. I definitely can see that. Looking at the buttons available for these Holy Paladins, I just feel like any CC that lands, it could just be it. There's a Hodge going out, though. Can he get the Repentance? He cannot. He gets stopped in the Repentance. Tony in that bear form. Tessia at low health. Everyone on Streamer Zone GG is in a defensive position, and this late in the game, you really don't want that. Relza's mana is also getting a little bit tapped here, and it looks like Drive Overload is smelling blood in the water. They're pushing in on top, and now Tony's getting... oh my god, this is Icy Veins, to your point. Let's see what Tessia is going to be able to get done with it.
Yeah, at the same time, Elsewaves, he rips his veins. I think it is a race to the finish for these two teams. Tessia gets interrupted on Frost, and he is getting completely owned. But a full cycle on Elsewave slows down his damage. I want to see him just ice block out of this and just keep up the aggression if he can. He's going to play it patient, but he's just getting controlled and really can't get the damage rolling. Both teams doing a really good job at mitigating that Icy Veins damage. Tony under fire right now. TJ at the same time. JT just deciding to sit this polymorph. So these druids are doing such a good job when they are under fire to just go into bear form with a full stun lands, counter Dragon's Breath. Both teams just rip it out. Crowd control trying as we get almost 40% or over 40% into dampening at this point of the game. Relza into a full Hammer of Justice. He has his trinket. He has the Divine Shield. He can break free from crowd control, but realizing his team has momentum, they're not opting for it. But JT in trouble. Dampening is high. Maybe they could just make a Paladin swap. He's got no Divine Shield. Now at the same time, Tony is under fire. Relza really struggling to keep him alive. This game is not going to go on much longer here, D-Machine.
No, it's not. He trinketed that Hodge, and that's it for JT. He's got no more outs. He has that bot, but it can get stolen. TJ is the one who's in a bit of trouble. He's desperately trying to get away. Tony, at the same time, is at a sliver of health. Relza's going to use the bubble. He has very little throughput, however. Tony's just forcing his bear form. Momentum shifting over for Drive Overload. Can they take Tony out? And they do. And they bring the game the distance, but Drive Overload, again, takes another game off for Streamer Zone GG. They want to go to that finals.
I mean, definitely, they're looking really good. But I'm going to be honest, Streamer Zone, they played that a lot more confidently. It was nice to see Tessia. He switched over to the Orc. He was playing, really aggressively in their face. He forced Elsewave to play really defensive. So it just seemed like a complete paradigm shift in this matchup where all of a sudden it was Elsewave. He was blinking behind the pillars and having to run and having to hide a lot more in the match. So the beginning of the game, Streamer Zone, I feel like it was definitely going their favor, but eventually things kind of equalized. It was really back and forth, and this is one of those games that really could have gone either way, up at 50% dampening. I think this is actually one of the longest games we've had out of all three of the cups, maybe the longest that I can really remember. So, and this is one of those matchups that can end in 30 seconds. Like, there's so much damage and crowd control available. It just goes to show you how well these teams
what
are
you
playing.
Looking to do?
There's so many close calls. I would never have guessed that was a long
just
game.
An 8 or 2.
I mean, obviously
I need 2
it was.
more keys to get my vault fully filled.
You know what I mean? But I just felt like at any given moment, anyone can die.
So intense.
Time flies and you're having fun watching these feral druids go into bear form every other go. But it's such an interesting matchup, this one, because you see sort of the offensive momentum that gets shifted back and forth over and over again. But it's the last opportunity. It's the last moment of momentum where both teams have nothing left to trade, and whoever can kind of catch the opportunity to push the other team defensive. Like bear form, it's such a great ability. It's such a game changer in comparison to if you're playing with a rogue. But you're not doing nearly as much damage when you're in bear form. You really need to switch the momentum on your favor, and you have to like kind of rely on your team in order to get that cross CC going. I saw a lot of times Tony pushing in, trying to get like the CC going, trying to take advantage of that momentum, but then getting punished for his overextension, and just both teams just doing a really good job at playing with each other's strengths, trying to find these opportunities to shift it on its head. But this is such a volatile matchup. It just feels like there's an ice block or a bop or a sack going at any given go.
Do you have time to run another
object
build?
is to try to get them overlapped if you can, you know, really cause a panic in the disco and just force these teams to use multiple cooldowns during these games. But Drive Overload confidently locking in this composition once again. And honestly, for Drive Overload, I never want to see them not play this. Like, even if they're
so good.
If they win this, I think with the rematch against Echo, they should just have confidence in this composition every single game.
I think I'm just going to throw myself in the group
Don't play anything else because this seems to be what they're best at right now. And overall, it's a really good comp. They're the ones that kind of popularized it in Cup #1. JT on the Paladin has been a joy to watch. So, yeah, their team is just looking really, really solid. I want to tell you, too.
Siege. Might have
nice
some
shirt.
Okay.
Got a nice mog on.
Yeah, I like it. We got the lumberjack cosplay going on today. We're just feeling
Stole my look.
I know. Well, I mean, you look so good. I mean, I gotta get inspiration from somewhere. But enough glazing.
Nice.
I do want to agree with you a little bit on Drive Overload.
I'll get some water really quick while you log in.
I just feel like this Feral Druid and the damage coming out from Elsewave, they have the setups, they have the maim goes, they have, you know, the cross CC, but they also have the attrition, like with all of the rips and everything into late game. We just saw them go, to your point, probably one of the longest games we've seen, at least in this tournament. So they can go the distance as well. Do they have the stops for, you know, Chanimals? It's spooky. They went for the double decurse before, but I think with the extra control and the offensive pressure to force their opponent's defensive, I think may end up being the key. But we're already talking as if Streamer Jones GG is out of it yet. I mean, they're locking in the same composition. They could take it 3-2. I still believe in them. I believe that they are capable of it, but it's a tall order. I mean, to come back in the lower bracket 3 games in a row, I can't even begin to explain to, like, you know, the average like player how much like mental fortitude you need to not tilt right now.
Yeah, it can be difficult. Also, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we're in such a bad spot. Sometimes it can also be like, we're in such a bad spot. It's like, there's nothing left to lose. It's like, we've already lost. Let's just play and see what happens, you know? And if you do, yeah, the thing is, like, if you do start picking up wins, like, let's say you do get a win as Streamer Zone right now, it's like that meme, they're starting to believe, you know, from the Matrix, and all of a sudden, you know, you pick up 2 wins, and then you have a lot of momentum. It's like, okay, now we can do it, and then Drive Overload's like, wait, what's going on? We won the first 2. Why have we lost the last 2? So I do think there's a, you know, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that they do come back, and I think each consecutive win obviously becomes more and more likely, but like there starts to be like a little bit of a momentum shift that could go in favor of Streamer Zone.
Oh my gosh, the mind games are so real. All eyes on Streamer Zone GG. Can they do it? Can they pull it out? This is kind of like their moment to prove it. This is you know, 2nd and 3rd seed, I believe, facing off here in the lower bracket to go against the 1st seed in the point standings. No one wants to be in that 3rd place. No one wants to be in contention and going into Cup 4 for that spot. They want to be locked in, but you also need that seeding going into the grand finals. It's a big deal. Streamer Zone GG, this is kind of the mom spaghetti moment. Can they pull it back? I mean, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was, Drive Overload is looking pretty prime to me.
I'm starting to slightly. I don't want to be I don't want to be a coward. I was gonna say I'm starting to slightly regret my prediction here, but no, I still believe in Streamer Zone. Come on, I really do believe that at the beginning of that game #2, Streamer Zone, they were looking prime. So can't count them out just yet. Tessia's gonna be locking in the Orc Mage once again, just to get a little bit of a reduction in those stuns incoming from TJ, and really try to keep the pressure here against Elsewave. It's both Mage exchanging a little bit of flurries here in the opener. Ice Lances flying in, Comet Storms and Frozen Orbs, counter spells, oh my, there comes the Ice Wall, and just lots of initial cleave pressure as they do make a swap on JT. Reading out the Divine Protection should be enough to deflect the attack.
Yeah, looks like he's A-okay. I love that JT never overreacts to those swaps, but I do love that they're getting those swaps. I mean, we saw Relza getting swapped too, and it just kind of forced a bit of a panic last time. There's a nice ice wall, though. Oh, my goodness gracious. TJ's kind of completely isolated from his team in a 3v1 situation. He's got to be careful. They break the ice wall, and TJ comes out of that unscathed. But what a scary moment those ice walls could be.
Yeah, definitely. It's all of a sudden your healer just can't get there, but they really didn't panic. It's just a survival instinct. Tessia, though, getting completely destroyed. Needs to be careful. Both Tony and Tessia are low. Massive heals incoming. Tessia has the altar time shortly available. Going for a shifting power is Elsewave. Just trying to get the Icy Veins off cooldown once again, but now the pressure has completely reversed here, and it's TJ and Elsewave that could go down. Both these teams is capable of so much damage. It's overwhelming damage, and JT's really struggling. Could he really go down through his divine protection? He's trying to run and hide. Elswave's getting cleaved down. He's in a full stun. That's an ice block, and Streamer Zone doing a great job in these opening stages once again.
They're grasping at straws here, man. They're not getting knocked out, not without a fight. TJ now cloning up Tony for just a little bit, slowing down the game just a tiny bit, but now he's caught into a rake stun. He's dipping down so low into the Hodge follow-up, and that's it! Bubble from JT, just a little too late. And Streamer Zone have fought their way back into this series, Ven. Ooh, your prediction.
They're starting to believe, D-Machine. They really are. I mean, that game looked good. I'm not going to lie. Did not look bad. They had good pressure out in that match. From start to finish, they managed to get the ice block from Elsewave. Really big swap here onto TJ. I want to see exactly how this went so bad so quick. So TJ, he's got no bark skin, or he does have bark skin. So he has this bark skin here. Tony gets a stun on him. He does use the bark skin. Yeah, JT just thinks like, okay, this is enough, but it was just an overwhelming amount of damage, and then JT just too little, too late. Just didn't have a response. They just really thought the bark skin was going to be enough, and
we watched some
it was
AWC.
Not too much damage from Streamer Zone.
It's just, dude, it's crazy how these like kill opportunities just come out of nowhere. We're just like talking about how, you know, one of these players is dipping down low, and then you blink and their Holy Paladin's down to half and having to use, you know, their wall. It's crazy the type of win conditions that this FMP composition can make for themselves. But you know, both Feral Druid, especially when not in bear form, can really get squished down. And if you see here, he actually gets stunned up. If you watch TJ, he gets stunned up. I think he gets rake stunned, or he gets hodged first. It's a stun into a stun, and when you're double stunned and you're not in bear form, this is really spooky. And you know, I'm sure these paladins, they're so used to these feral druids having the foresight, having the ability to get into that bear form preemptively. But the great hodge, great synergy coming out from the paladin, as well as the feral druid here to land a kill onto TJ.
You know,
but
you know what's really nice about this hammer? Yeah, you know what's nice about this hammer justice too? Tony doesn't have to restun, so like he can just focus purely on damage there.
Big bites,
which is nice. Yeah, just use every single global for maximum DPS, and look at the damage. That's what I'm saying. Like Tessia, he's stepping up in these games. I'm telling you, game number 2 looked really good for Tessia. Game number 3 looked even better. So he might be exactly what they need. Testing needs to step up in a big way for his roster.
To the yard.
And improve, like, you know, all those years on Mage, all the years in countless tournaments, they have to pay off in this mirror match here against Elsewave. He's kind of like the new Mage on the block. Elsewave, obviously, an incredible multi-classer. I mean, I've talked to a lot of Europeans that think he's like definitely one of the best players in Europe. His ability to just play multiple things at such an incredibly high level, but streamers don't have that wisdom advantage, right? Like Tessia, he's just been at it for such a long time that perhaps it'll pay off and they can come back in the series.
Nice. I just curious how you felt playing SP's Dead last night.
I'm just seeing you on
it felt fine. I mean, it felt good.
The trench coat on.
They're starting to believe. You know what I mean? Like they really are.
I've played like a couple of shadow plays.
In the very first
where the like warlocks are really experienced and those feel better.
I want to see more of the risk.
You're liking the dev, like the dev felt fine last night.
Over again. It is a spooky scenario, having your tournament life on the line like this, and you know,
the warlocks I've played with have been playing it for like, you know,
and to play risky, but it is what is required right here. Elsewhere, push again, try to get aggressive out of Thessia right away, getting a bunch of damage out.
Rel's
now going to go ahead, or Tony's going to get caught into a hodge, going to get stopped. He has the incarnation up. Rel's is going to to commit the hand of sacrifice. The Tifa seem aggressive. Now TJ on the back foot. He's taking an ice wall, though, is going to isolate that Paladin. Let's see what can happen. TJ has the Incarnation up. He has Barkskin, but he can't get a lot of damage out with the Incarnation up because he's forced in bear form. He's just forced defensive the whole time.
Yeah, I really like this. TJ, once again, just so far on the back foot. Finally getting a maim stun here onto Tony, who is caught in caster, but just 0 damage. And it seems like TJ and Elsewave, they're on different targets in this matchup. Elswave's going to be going for a full Shimmer. Dragon's Breath Poly gets the full crowd control chain, and now it's Tessia a little bit on the back foot. He blast wave TJ away through the Ring of Fire to put some damage over time on him. Need to find some crowd control on JT, though. Tony looking for a potential Cyclone. He gets the Rake stun. Is there anything to follow it up? He needs a Cyclone. Tony going for a Cyclone. He fakes the interrupt, gets the full Cyclone. Now they can do a setup here on a TJ, who preemptively bear form. So great heads-up play there. Elsewave, that's the last little bit of his Icy Veins proc, so his damage is going to fall off just a little bit there. But yeah, Streamer Zone, once again, they are looking good, but they really need to focus on getting that CC on JT. As I say that, Tessia steps up. He gets a full polymorph. Once again, TJ is in trouble, and this has turned off of a mage race from game number 1 into let's just focus the Pharaohs a lot more.
I like it. I mean, we saw how potent a Pharaoh can go down, especially in a stun. And a lot of these Feral Druids have a lot of stun. Maim goes out onto TJ. Where's this follow-up CC? The bash onto JT. Do they have the Cyclone? The Ore Mastery Cyclone does land. TJ down at half health. He's in bear form. He's trying to line aside. Tessia is going to go ahead and polymorph up Elsewave, taking control of the game, getting that cross CC up. The Ring of Frost to follow it up. TJ's in some trouble. He's forcing the bear form the whole time. Big heal coming out from JT. I believe that was the lay on hands to stabilize. So just another button off the board for drive overload.
Yeah, I love that they're just adopting a new strategy. Here comes the ice wall once again. JT trying to get their double wall. What is going on? It's a maze. It looks like both walls will fall, but that was so great there. Elsewave. So the first wall comes down, which is Tessia. The second wall is Elsewave just trying to line of sight Tessia to save his Pharaoh.
I'm
so it's like, okay, my healer can't heal, but I can
at
least stop the mage
beacon?
damage. So that was a great play by Elsewave.
Probably.
TJ got locked out. He's a little spooked. I don't think he can use any buttons right now. JT, he doesn't have the hand to sacrifice, but he does have bops available to him. Double Dragon's Breath. Is it going to get followed up?
Which he seems to have.
On it. Good job by TJ. If JT
got he's a 618. He's higher than me.
Another button at the very least, if not a death. So TJ, he wants to get aggressive.
Ring of
higher than you.
Out of nowhere, the maim stun onto TJ into cat form. He's forcing.
You're 616.
And there's another.
We are exactly the same.
Running out of buttons slowly but surely.
This was your key, erratic.
The Cyclone slows down TJ as well, but Tony is just almost dead. Elsewave just pulling damage out of nowhere. Survival instincts. Is it enough? Divine Shield gets ripped out by Relza, but look at this. JT, he's in a full maim, a full Cyclone. TJ is all alone. If Tony can get there for the stun, this could easily be the game. I don't know if they have the damage to take him down. JT has massive heals and tops him off, but
what the hell, man?
But all 6 members are now nice.
No, that was a joke.
It's all good. JT has his rotating up in just a few short seconds. So
I'm pretty sure it doesn't get reset anymore because it's not a 3-minute CD. I don't know. I should test that, I guess.
Sacrifices. Look how close Trinket was.
Yeah, I know.
They both just use bubble. This
Heal
is
for me, erratic.
A close
Heal for me.
game.
Oh, that's a 4.
Both teams really showing
it's a
us
weird
why
way to
they're
aim
second and third
the
seed.
Enforcer at all your range players.
Cyclone gets landed onto JT. TJ sees it. He's going to go ahead and line of sight for now, but Tessia is getting taken so much damage. TJ trying to get out into the mix of things, get his damage out as well. Relza pulling back. He's going to commit the hand to sacrifice. JT already committed his as well. It's just blow for blow here.
Trying to make sure
Tony
I had
now
better
is the one who's
immunity
catching
for
the
you,
biggest
Riggs.
fire. He's going to invest that Barkskin CS on the Tessia. The ice wall isolates
6
Relza.
million healing for me. That's all I need.
In the nick of time. He seems like he's going to be okay for now, but just these small CC chains, these small plays can really just mean death for either team.
Yeah, Tessia just using that Icy Veins, just throwing in Frost Firebolt after Frost Firebolt. Both these mages have huge hits. Tessia needs to be careful. He goes into the Icebox, does not want to mess around, but JT might just get solo. Tony trying to take him down, plus get protection.
It's not enough! Tony!
Tessia does it, Tonya. Tony, is he going to go down? It doesn't look like it. I can't believe it.
My God.
There's some brutal overlaps that
done.
they theoretically fixed, but they really didn't.
I feel like they should just like screw any fantasy and just make them the most contrasting colors ever.
Yeah, see?
Oh, we have a
sometimes you have to make
fantastic
high percentage plays here, but I can't believe it's Streamer Zone. A very back and forth game once again, but yeah, Tessia just really...
I feel like they made the overlaps worse.
Causing so much pressure on JT in those final moments. JT doing what he can. He gets a blessing of protection off.
That was a great hook.
One could argue a little bit too late. I think
brought me right up to the group
with that. And unfortunately, when he
Exactly
finally gets
what
it
he
off, Tessie is there, just flurry ice lances him, and that's
Wait, are
going to
we
be the
not
game.
killing
But
that? Okay.
it's that beautiful ice wall you called out.
we are
Rousey
now.
is able to
We're
get
killing it
there,
anyways.
and this is where JT just starts kind of rotting down. Tony turns his attention onto him a little bit. I think he looks for a cyclone, but it's out of the cyclone that he realizes, okay, JT
That
has
was
got
the
no
last
trinket,
second
he's
comment
got no
for
divine
Radic.
shield. He does have the blessing of
That was
protection,
really-
but let's
really
at
good
least put
bop
some
there.
pressure in. Just look at JT. I just feel like
They're paying me
this is
for.
a
Oh,
little
well, I'm
bit
sorry,
too
Jeff.
much
Not that
read
good down
for
there.
my liking.
I don't
here.
know
what it
Through,
even
but
was.
Tessie is just there.
It was a
Oh, no,
very
either.
sloppy pull. I
is,
don't know why we didn't
doesn't
pull
end
it,
up
and then
being
I don't know
enough,
why
and
we did
they're
pull
able
it.
to take him down. A really close game, though. I mean, you can see
Understand.
just
Yeah,
how
I
low
don't know
Tony got
either.
in those final moments. But Streamer Zone, this is what I'm talking about, David. This is what I'm saying. Like, you were
my
down
gosh.
0-2. And now this is the momentum shift. You're winning. Like, you're playing aggressive. You're playing confidently. You've won the last 2 games, and now Drive Overload. Are they second guessing themselves?
You have to be. I mean, any mortal
That
would
was the
at this
shredders
point.
that killed me. They both
Just
jumped
shout
on me
out
or
to the
something, I guess.
great presence of mind
Yeah.
of seeing the opportunity of swapping to this Holy Paladin. Like, both Paladins, you know, they're playing pretty aggressive. They're out in the open or a little bit like that.
First,
But
like,
once this
4
Holy Paladin
packs
doesn't
means
have
so
that
much
bubble,
healing.
he doesn't have that trinket available to them, he gets put into a stun. He could easily die. To your point, he could bop, but they're constantly thinking in the back of their mind, okay, well, this mage can just steal my bop if I pop it.
Actually,
I'm just
really
done.
impressed
And I don't
that
have forbearance.
only
I'm not
you
sure if he
died
had Layer
there.
Hands. I don't think he did.
I guess
think
like
they were
everybody
both
had a
basically
second there.
tapped.
They almost
But,
died.
forcing those cooldowns and seeing the or to knowing to make that swap, it's such a difficult thing. It's so close.
So with the tank, I'm
if you
really
were to swap
impressed
like
you
that, you're,
lived.
potentially giving your opponent the ability to catch their own
We're gonna
momentum.
pull this.
To,
Like,
to
there's
give their their
no way we
frost mage
don't.
a little bit more breathing
Oh, we
room
need
in order
percent
to get their
anyways,
own
right?
momentum. So
Right.
making swaps like that, they can be risky, but to see the win opportunity like
Yo,
that,
for me,
and
Jeff.
to nail it on your tournament life on the line,
already
and
pressed on
bring
my
the series
buttons.
back to Game 5.
Oh,
Hats
can
off
keep
to
doing
Streamers
DPS.
GG. Hats
Make
off
me
to
feel a little
Drive
better
I
about
Overload.
mean,
myself.
yeah,
Hell of a
I'll
series
do
here
what I
in the
can,
lower
but
finals.
this dude is
Oh my
not
goodness. Streamer
boomkin
Zone.
friendly
Are they
pulling.
gonna
Like,
be
he's
able to
just
do it? Drive
randomly
Overload,
pulling
they want a
3
small
mobs
map,
and then
so
butt
they're
pulling an
making
extra
the
4
smallest
mobs.
map
Like, I've
in the
already
pool that
got
just wanted to
everything
make
rolling.
hook
Like, it's too
point.
late for me to do
It's gonna be
damn.
hook, line, and sinker for one of these teams after
Just
this
pull them
game
all
is
at the same
over. It's an
time.
elimination series. The
Well,
winner of
just
this
remember,
turns a rematch, or I guess a
a
battle against Echo in the finals, depending
I
on
blame
who
Rex.
wins.
Let's remember.
I'm the only one. Look at me.
This
the
is why I
lone
said I kinda
prediction
maybe
going in
sort of
favor
trust
Streamer
him.
Zone. And I
Oh
feel
my
like kind of a
gosh.
coward because I was like, I regret my prediction, but
Also, why are you
it ended
blaming
up
me?
working
I'm
out,
making this
which is
happen for
nice.
you.
Dude, I don't know who wouldn't after game 2.
I'm the reason
it
you
was
have
really
Keystone
convincing.
Master.
Like, I really thought
Oh
that.
my god, this tank is
I went from
fucking
1300
awful.
to 2k on my own.
They got
Why am I
Mount
even
Spaghetti
playing
off
this
their
fucking trinket
blouses,
that's
and
OP
they are
if you're just
really
gonna let me die?
taking this series the distance. Zico and Supatis could still win too.
You
They
might
could
be able to
still
claim
easily
my
go
Keystone
with the
Hero.
exact prediction, but I mean, losing 2 games in a row. Streamer Zone was able to come back from it. They were able to lock in. They were able to figure it out. Drive Overload now needs to do the same.
definitely. It does just feel like to me.
well.
I know it sounds weird, but I can just tell the teams that are playing with confidence. Like Drive Overload, game number 1, they.
Oh, I'm
had the
really,
confidence in
really
the
impressed
matchup.
with
They were
myself. I
playing
managed to
aggressive,
not
they were
die and
taking
get
the
you.
risks, They were just getting
Get you
ahead,
debuff.
forcing them to be on the back foot.
Pretty
The
sure
last
I
2
got
games,
it,
though, it's
but
been a bit of a difference.
no
for
worries.
You know
Streamer
what?
Zone. I
I'm
feel
claiming
they're
it.
the
I did
ones
most of the healing there.
You know, they got nothing to lose. If they get the reverse sweep, it's massive. Drive Overload. does
Oh, let's
not
see if we can
want that
keep
to
aggro
happen.
from a
I'll
boomkin
tell
on
you
this
from
full.
experience, it is a very bad feeling to
Don't
be
worry, in
2-0
2
in a
minutes I'll have
series.
another condom for
Seems
you.
like you're just so close to winning, and then you get reverse swept. That's the worst feeling competing. So, yeah,
Dude,
mentally.
you just brought me back, man. You just brought me back to BlizzCon.
And Jake's right. Maybe I do need to just gear my tank up.
Fun fact about back in the day,
Who's
I
gonna heal?
used to be a big Venruki fanboy
Jake?
and watch the 3 amigos at BlizzCon, and it is. Yeah, we'll talk about
Getting
that
those
later.
vibes
Anyway, the game. Incarnation being committed by both Feral Druids off the bat. Both sacrifices being committed as well by both of these Paladins. They know this matchup. JT immediately is going to get caught into the main, into the
Divine
stun,
Shield!
and that's going to be Bubble. Paladin, going Paladin.
Still
That's
has
the
it,
play.
hold on.
And JT's like, do it back.
Oh.
How about we do that? Hodge into full repentance.
Yeah, like such a
Believe that
tiny
the
amount
Jesus
left
does.
that I couldn't even see it on your
The
thing.
next go, the next DR
I should
shot,
really get a
it's
Weeko to
over.
track it.
Or, I'm sorry,
It's a full
JT, but
poly!
TJ,
This is a game!
it's
That's it!
over!
Are you kidding
No
me?
Can't see it on DKs.
Oh my goodness gracious, TJ holding on by a thread. Streamer Zone, they're just playing this one so confidently. They have so much pressure. Full cyclone on JT. TJ, 0 cooldowns left whatsoever. JT, basically nothing available to.
Flashbacks to watching Jesse do
so
this.
heavily in favor of Streamer Zone. What is Drive Overload going to do? They need to try to battle it back, start pulling some
Were you
cooldowns.
there for that one,
No
Jeff?
fucking way, dude.
Plans. TJ once again on the run.
Like, just
Huge
give me more
flying
fucking
coming in.
time. It's not even that
Tessia just
fucking
making
hard.
Work. Full hammer of Justice Lands.
I literally
Another
tried the
cyclone
first one.
coming
It's the
in
only
from
one that
Tony.
needs to be
JT
fucking
hits the
changed.
ice wall.
He should not be
And
doing
in
his hook
style.
that
I
early.
mean, Streamer Zone,
Because you don't know where the
every game is
fucking
getting better and
stuff
better.
is.
This was their best performance.
Yeah,
I
no, the
can't
first
believe
one's
it.
terrible.
Great job by Tessia, Tony, and Relza.
They did it. They came back 3-0. I don't think they're starting to believe. I think they believe. Streamer Zone GG making it past Drive Overload, the 2nd seed. I'm assuming Streamer Zone GG is now the 2nd seed of the whole region, and they showed us exactly why. Unbelievable games from them.
We should see what the next one's gonna be.
Winning 3
Oh, that's
games in a
back.
row against Drive Overload in a mirror matchup. You know, people talk about compositions like, oh, we didn't have an answer to this, oh, we didn't have an answer to that. There's no excuses like that in a game, in a matchup like this. This is a mirror matchup, and they were up 2-0.
Oh, we kill him here?
Holy
there's a
Drive
shit
Overload,
ton
I
of
hope they still
bombs.
are holding
What?
their heads up high because they put
Hey.
on a hell of a show.
You
And
guys
I
see
hope
that?
they are
There's
able
like
to bring back
5.
that confidence that they showed us in
Looks like
game number
muzzle
1
waves spawned
because
at
they
once or
can
something.
definitely hang with the best of them. But Streamer Zone
I wonder
GG,
if that's
they're
'cause,
showing us
like, one of
why
the
they have that,
ads
you know, the
soaked one of the
tournament
bombs.
veteran experience is really paying dividends right now. And
Oh my God, I
they
regret
earned it.
sacking
They
this guy.
earned a spot in the finals against Echo.
Yeah, I really can't believe it. Look at this final ice wall too. It's a cyclone comes down. Oh
Wow.
no. It's actually, I'm not gonna lie, that was Elsewave. He imprisoned his Feral Druid. That was unlucky.
No.
Oh no, that was a sabotage. I thought that was Tessia dropping the ice wall, but in the final
too.
moments,
I respect it though. You know why? Because if you look at the buttons, they're so behind. They forced that bubble so early. Like if they were able, if he was able to isolate his feral to save him,
that would have been
such
a hero
big
play.
deal.
That would have been the
Yeah.
that was that's one of those plays where it's like, yeah,
Please
if
stop.
it works.
I'm
you're a
sorry,
genius.
Jeff.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't look so
I didn't
good.
see your
but
chickenness
I
there.
definitely- I feel like if he like
Fucking
the
moved
thing
out
is,
of it, and then you backed up even more.
Ice wall or no, I think the only way he lives there is if the ice wall goes off. So it's like a risky play,
Right.
but without it, you just lose. So I like
I
it.
agree.
Also, I've decided to go for it. But yeah, Streamer Zone, I mean, they just go after JT, get Divine Shield in the opener. You know, he trinkets out of a Cyclone, gets immediately Polymorph. TJ's burning through all his cooldowns, and really not much you can do there, unfortunately. That ice wall had landed, that would have been absolutely sick, but unfortunately it didn't, and that game is going to conclude in just 1 minute and 23 seconds. Easy as 1, 2, 3.
You know, Drive Overload might have been eliminated right there, but we're gonna see him again. They got lots of points, Aya. They got all the points.
Oh yeah, they got lots of points. They are up there. I'm a bit upset about my prediction. I think the only one in a
I'm
good mood right now is yeah, we know. Ben literally
Okay,
sipping
Ben.
his tea off camera. You guys can't
That's
see it, but I
crazy.
did. I did. Very cool. Very collected. All right, Streamer Zone GG 3-2 in this series, and chat they were wrong.
Yeah,
right
chat.
alongside
Good
us.
job,
I told you,
Yeah,
chat, I'm wrong
chat.
for you.
What are you-
I got my eyes
what
on
are
you, chat.
doing?
Cool.
Yeah, what are you
I'm
doing?
gonna go the whole
Chad?
dungeon
What are
without
you
pressing
doing?
my trinket. This is
Vote
great.
against the Venruki. All right, well, congratulations to Streamer Zone, and congratulations to Venruki, of course. And we'll get those updated standings. But let's talk about this grand finals that we've got coming up. It is Echo versus Streamer Zone GG. I don't know. I would wonder if they even expected to be up here. You know, this is a team that was playing jungle for so long. They adapted to the current meta, and now here they are, kind of back on top. And
Yeah, Streamer Zone, and I'm not gonna lie, like with how those last 3 games went, if I was Echo, I'd be like, okay, these guys are definitely here to play. Like, you know, Tessia has some history with Echo. Obviously, all these teams do. Tony, Tessia, Relza, all of them have history with Echo. They've been battling against it for such a long time, and I think this makes for a very interesting finals because I've said it, like this Feral Mage Paladin composition is what I want to see ran into Echo. The time
Let
we've seen
hands
them
drop
tested
here.
the most
I do.
was when they played against Drive Overload at the finals of Cup number 1, and I think that
do.
Streamer Zone, if they play as well as they just did, they definitely have a shot in this finals.
I'm gonna die. I'm just
yeah, they
kidding.
certainly
you're
do.
not. No,
I
you're
have
not.
a little bit of a confession also. I sent in my prediction for the grand finals before I knew who was going to be up there. I just did a quick, I'm not going to lie, I just did a quick Echo 4-0, and now that I saw that series of Streamer
Dang.
Zone, I did that when it looked like that drive overload was gonna do a 3-0.
What's up,
And
Vegas?
now
What
I
are you doing,
regret
man?
it. I already sent it in though, but you know, I'm just
send in some
clear the air
keys
with
while we
that.
watch some AWC.
I feel like I've sinned. though. I feel like that was a big mistake, and they're gonna prove me wrong, I'm sure. We'll see how it goes. But here are the current standings. We've got Echo in first. We got Drive Overload in second. No longer having any more chances to make any more points throughout the rest of this day. And then Streamer Zone GG in third, and they are very, very closely catching up to Drive Overload. So we're gonna find out where exactly they end up very, very shortly here. We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, it's gonna be Echo versus Streamer Zone GG in the third Grand Finals for Europe of the season.
I don't have a Dispel, but if I Rage Regeneration, Victory Rush, Bloodthirst, he gets pretty much rid of it.
That's what I like to see. Less work for me. Who's gonna do the best single target? Oh, well, we're doing it live.
Yeah, I didn't.
I have. Oh no, I don't. I have burst in 20 seconds. Which means I don't really have burst.
I'll do it. I'll give it similar to you the next one. After it comes down. Or just tell me when you want it. I'll just go through them.
Need some more myth track slots in the vault. I want to try to get 110 this week is my goal. I haven't done a 10 yet.
I'm probably just gonna burst on the ads here, honestly.
That's fine. I'll just give it to you then. Phew.
Go for 10 mists every time I can. Dude, I hate mists. Is mist considered one of the easier ones? Oh my god, how long have I been
yeah.
Dance?
Yeah, Miss is great.
Just for you,
Go
Rick.
for the second boss. I'm scared. Too many pools.
This is the easiest key hand down.
I actually think Siege is really easy.
Especially on a 10.
Might be different on a 10.
Do you tank, Pega? I think you do, right? I'm anywhere at the moment.
There you go.
Alright, my trinket's almost stacked, so I expect to die before the next box easily.
This is a little awkward. Can't really.
And is pumping keys and just deletes the prio targets. Yeah, I've only like been in group with one rogue, but I was like, I didn't think rogues were supposed to be doing this kind of damage. This is so awkward.
Not letting you die, Jeff. I want to see you use that trinket.
Yeah, I want to see me use it too. I literally haven't used it since I got it.
Did you just get it?
Yeah, I got it last night and then I haven't played since.
Nice.
About the
Oh,
Spy
I fucked
Master.
up. I fucked up.
Seems being the biggest guy while just coming out bleeds my way out.
Where do you even get Spy Master from? Is it
It's
the
a
The
raid.
council fight.
council? I got my sack brewed last night. I was very happy.
He got a freaking sack brood that he couldn't trade even though he already had one.
Eh.
And I'm just sitting there with my fucking hands down my pants. It's pulled. Oh, I did pull, I think.
Oh. It's only one. Tell me when you're gonna use it.
On the boss.
Okay. Should be able to get one more rotation in.
That's actually a really cool like design to a trinket, like one that just absolutely annihilates.
It's actually so stupid. Like, now that it's like at 40 stacks, it's actually just like a good fucking trinket. Like, even if I never fucking press it, it's just giving me a fuck ton of int.
Got a hero sacrifice on the rogue, felt bad because I couldn't trade it, and it's on my bis. It's good, but not bis for sin. Interesting. I just want a passive trinket, to be honest. I've had 2 active trinkets this entire expansion. I don't even pay attention when I use it. I just macro them into avatar.
That was the tank, by the way, in case you wanted to know why I almost died. Yeah, the tank's not facing these guys the right way. They literally only shoot who's in front of them, so you should stand behind them.
Oh. Look at that.
Is he fucking spinning him around? What the
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking sure he is.
Should really go and buy something to drink. So I'm getting kind of scared really close to needing to have to do that.
This race changed to earthen.
Ew, now. I don't have it unlocked.
Waiting by.
I think I'm going to do the campaign.
Yeah, he's for the road. You didn't do the campaign once? It's so good.
No. No, I watched it on YouTube and I got my fulfillment. I pay $15 a month to run dungeons in this game, and that's about it.
Couldn't imagine.
This is one part I really don't like the suffix in, because I have to keep spelling this poison.
Yeah. I could probably help with that. Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's just whenever the affix comes in, I have to pay attention. I have to make sure.
Is it just on the tank? Who's it?
It's just the tank. It's a.
Okay.
It's the stacking poison debuff. No, you're gonna be melee and you're going to enjoy it, damn it.
What? So. Indubitably.
Indubitably. You just gonna use your drink at the start?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I'm stunned here. Can't do
Welcome back,
anything about
everyone.
it.
We're in the European Grand Finals here for Cup number 3. It is Echo facing off against Streamer Zone GG, who had a colossal turnaround in the
holy
last
power
series
spin, just
versus
didn't
Drive
cost mana.
Overload. Nobody expected
side of
them
the
to
stanchion.
win, except for
Okay.
Ven. Except for Ven. We'll give him credit. But chat was predicting Drive Overload. The rest of us were predicting Drive Overload. But Streamer Zone, Super T's, made it work somehow.
They made it work, but now they gotta face Echo. So that was brutal in the series just that they had, and this is gonna probably be even more brutal than that. They've met
That's
twice
what I like to
already
see.
this
Oh, heal
season
me,
in the
damn
War
it.
Within, and have yet to take a map off Echo. Third time might be the charm, but Chanimal is looking as fired up as ever.
No.
We got our predictions in here. Venruki and I, we think Streamer Zone might be able to get their first game win. Maybe they surprise everybody, but based off the last series we just saw between Echo and Drive Overload, they tried the Feral
Careful,
Mage
there's
and
one
got
near the
totally
statue. It's
destroyed.
under,
So,
very hidden.
which is crazy because that's
Yep.
the comp that
See
was
that
actually
one?
taking games off them in
got
week
you.
1, and you would think with Warlocks getting weaker,
someone
that
else
the
got
Feral
you.
Mage would have more of an opportunity, but it just seems like Echo is so insane right now.
They are insane. It does not look like they are going to be defeated by anyone. Can this team bleed? We'll find out soon enough. Streamer Zone definitely on an upswing here. They may be able to make it happen, and we'll find out in just a little bit. Here it's game number 1 in this best of 7 grand finals. Drive Overload versus StreamerZone.gg.
I was thinking about this. Are we going to see Relza on the Holy Paladin, or are we going to see him on the Priest? And
Oh my
I kind of
God.
like the Priest
Aurorus.
for this matchup. So he gets to play, you know, his main class as well. Really like that coming out from Streamer Zone.
Watch.
Echo, of course, going to be leading with Chanimal here. Rogue, Lock, Priest, once again for these guys. And Chanimal is going to be the target of choice here instantaneously. Waz going to be opening up onto Tony.
wanna get through one
slowing
dungeon
down
without getting
his
hit by
pressure
something I
in the
should get
opener.
hit
But
by.
Chanimal not able to connect too many dots just yet. He gets counterspelled
That's hard
there as
to
well
accomplish.
in the back line by Tessia. Tessia going in for the Dragon's Breath Snowdrift combo onto Meh. They're going after Meh. Big damage coming out
Yeah, he's
from
winning
Tessia onto
here.
Meh,
Really
forcing out the
can't
pain
do it.
suppression early on in the match. I like that they're going after these healers. It netted them a win in that lower bracket, and now it's netting them good pressure here in the upper bracket. They connect the full polymorph as well. Waz forced to trade out his Vanish. Look at his pressure coming out from Streamer Zone. It's just incredible.
It's a whole bunch of things going right for them right now. Maybe they just win the game now. Evasion, he's got a big powered shield, swapping some pressure back to Chanimal. But in the initial stages of this game, they just shut Chan out of the match with interrupts, and Relza dispelled dots, so his Malefic Raptures weren't getting any value. Then they swapped to Meh after shutting Chan down. Now they've swapped back onto Waz to keep their pressure going, and Streamer Zone are just not stopping. This is probably the best that we've seen from them. Another counterspell comes through for Tessia onto Meh, really trying to pressure Waz and push the pace, but he's falling behind. Chan is starting to dig his feet in, and he has just got to top of the meter.
Yeah, Chan is starting to get the dots rolling here. Relza, though, doing a good job staying out of crowd control. So far, hasn't been feared in the match. There's a bash onto Mech. Can they find a follow-up? No. Waz and Chanimal managed to interrupt Tessia in that exchange. Tony sitting through a Cyclone. But I feel like Echo is playing defensively. They're not, you know, this kind of full gas pedal, kidney shot CC chains that we see on the enemy healer. And I feel like they're getting not that much pressure as a result of it. Finally, a counterspell snucking in onto Meh here in the backline. Meh sitting through a root now. Tessia pushing in for the double Dragon's Breath, mass polymorph. Shadow Step kick, though, denies it by Waz.
Ooh, triple
into a
drift.
triple snowdrift. Big snowdrift, but Meh fears it in the last second before he gets stunned by it. Nice defensive fear, but Tessia is making these aggressive plays, and it's really paying off.
These mass polymorphs and the Tessia drifts are definitely playmaking moves here from him. He's really trying to set his team up for success. But look at Rel's mana. You know, the longer that this goes on, Chanimal has been left uncontested for some time now. He's already doubling everybody. He ports back behind the pillar. They got an ice wall pinning them back there. They're just going to gate across the map. Maybe look for a reset. Relza should maybe consider drinking, I think, during this period of time, because if this game goes long, he's going to have mana problems at this rate. He's trying to fish for mind controls, not finding them. He's staying away from crowd control. Big pressure on Waz. He's just going to go down. Cloak of Shadows at a critically low health moment here as Met is in a polymorph still. If they can continue to chain this, they get a Dragon's Breath. Can they keep the chain going? Waz shuts down the polymorph with the cheap shot. Here comes a Snowdrift. Waz is on DR, but an Ice Lance crit nonetheless. Chunks him with a huge Frostfire Bolt Flurry and a counterspell. And Tessia wants blood in game number 1. They're pushing for their first win this entire season against Echo, and they're so close.
That was a beautiful counterspell by Tessia. He fake cast the kick. He's going to get this Ring of Frost guaranteed onto Meh. Waz, what are you going to do? Defensive shadowy duel. Is it going to be enough defense? No, Meh is actually going to trinket out of that one. Kidney shot here onto Tessia. Totally overextending behind the pillar. Don't need to be careful. Chanimal is digging in with the damage. Now swapping over to Relza. He is taking a lot of rot pressure as well. Meh gets a double fear. Tony is stuck in that one. Chanimal loading up so much damage in that fear. He's got the Observer as well, blasting Tony here behind the pillar there for a moment. Tessia was forced into the first ice block of the match. Dragon's Breath into a full sheep though. Waz with no trinket, no Cloak of Shadows into a restart. This could be the game. Waz, what are you gonna do? I don't think he can do anything. Meh not able to connect with the Void Shift, and Streamer Zone are gonna take game number 1 and lead the series. Their first game win against Echo. What is going on?
I mean, all of us were sitting here expecting this to be a beatdown. We were all expecting, like, yeah, Streamer Zone, you
Glad one of us
you got the grand finals, but man, I think this is gonna be it for you. Like, Echo is just going to be playing around with you. But Streamer Zone, this is the best I think we've seen them play the entire season in this game. This recovery from Relza right before winning the game, managing to bring his team back from the brink, because Chanimal, he got pretty much every combo off right there to burst them, but not enough to finish. And they catch Waz in this DR to maim, and I'm like, there's no way he dies in a DR maim, but this big chomps, big meteor crits come through, and the bleeds tick right on the cheat death. Right before Mez crowd control broke before he could void shift. A little bit of a fluky spot, I think. Like, if that sheep broke like, even a millisecond faster, he wouldn't have died there. But nonetheless, I love the aggression that they're bringing. They're not letting Echo push them around.
Yeah, definitely, and I really like what Tessia did here. They got the trinket from Matt earlier, and then they forced the ice block. They recover here. Tessia goes for another Dragon's Breath sheep, but it looked like the sheep ended before Waz died there, but I'm not sure actually. Yeah, right. Nah, it's at the exact same time. Man was probably spamming his void shift, but not able to get it off there in time. That sheet def for Waz not going to be doing too much in that situation, unfortunately for him. Sometimes that sheet def, you proc it and you die as it procs basically. If you have an ability that takes you to like 1 HP,
I shot him and it didn't work. Hang on.
Then usually like a dot take will just kill you.
That was weird.
And yeah, that's pretty much what happened right here. The Shadow Word Def from Relza, I think procced it, and the Frostfire Infusion took him out, which is a passive from the Frostmage.
Oh,
so, Streamer Zone leading the series here. Not something that I expected to see. And Echo going to be locking in the exact same thing. We're going to go to an even larger map here. Now, this is the best Streamer Zone has looked in a while. And honestly, it's because
you
of
got
no
an upgrade,
Casu.
nice.
It's just bring in Tessia and really make him work. I mean, Casu, don't get me wrong. Casu, he's the king. He's the king of hunters, you know. Like, I'm not, that's no shade at Casu, but I feel like that has been their problem in the past, right? They're only relying on Casu and Tony.
I can do one more. I can do
Usually they don't utilize their 4th member at all on the rosters that Streamer Zone have been playing. And now finally they have a really, really solid mage main, such a skilled player, and they're using him and actually making it work. So this is awesome.
It's one win, okay? It's one win. They need 3 more wins if they want to win Cup number 3 and overthrow Echo's reign so far in the War Within Season 1. We're going to Ashmane's Fall, a large map, looking to give more room.
Because you trusted a portal from a holy palace.
Like that, punish Tessia for how
was going to happen.
If he's going to overextend
really
like that, it'll be a lot
just,
easier to control
walk
him on a
over
map
and
like
click
this. So it
Stormwind.
makes a lot of sense for Echo.
True.
They still had some cooldowns, they just couldn't access them until literally like the final.
Very true.
Or you Hearth, which is what you're going to do anyways.
Echo still had options there. They were building a lead on mana. Streamer Zone, they cannot let up right now. Tessia's just blinking in to get combat immediately for no sap. and that it will allow.
I have to think.
Rose actually got sapped even with the blink in, so now he's just down a blink at the moment, and it looks like
Where
Waz
am I?
is gonna
Where am
let
I?
Failure
Tony
damage is the
slow
hard
down his
thing.
initial assault, and Chan's
Do
trying to
what?
fake a
Hard thing for you to
counterspell.
Looking at
He
your
isn't
failure
able to.
damage
He
is the
gets
hard thing for
spell
you to
locked on it.
accomplish.
Now is he going to get stunned or kicked by the Feral Druid? Feral Druid has no kick at the moment. Chan's free casting. He goes for the coil. He's taking a lot of damage at the moment.
Or
Tony
down
is
to 8 right
chomping.
now.
They're forcing pain suppression very early on.
What do you guys want?
Yeah, and they're looking for
Ends
follow-up
up getting
CC, but
eight.
Waz shuts
Just
it
for an
down. Now
easier
swapping
time.
over to Waz, trying to avoid that
Oh,
polymorph
Geralt
there
draws
from
hero
Tessia.
impressed.
Tessia manages to find it there, actually, but I think, no, it was Deft there by Matt. Nicely done, but Ice Wall coming out. This could be it. Chanimal, so low.
DB.
Matt gets Dragon's Breath
that's
out of
the
bounds.
knock.
He's going to get knocked, too. There's the knock as well. Chan
Frost Nova.
surviving on
Frost
his
Nova.
own, but there's the Frost Nova into another Frost Nova. Beautiful gateway play into the Leap of Faith, into a double Snowdrift, though. Tessia is just
clone
making
low.
play after play. They get the low Cyclone onto Chan. If
He
Tony
coded his
can
pace up, I
find
think.
anything, if they can find anything onto Meh right now, the OTP
He's dead.
coming out
Oh
from
my
the
God.
He's dead. It's over. Tessia
Dude,
with another
Streamer Zone
MVP
is
knock.
2-0
What an
against
insane
Echo.
game from Streamer Zone, and especially from Tessia. This guy is
Don't have
on
to eat.
fire. We have to rewatch all of that again. He gets the sheep. I think he
more
does. He
drums.
resheeps the death.
That was the
then
best
he gets
play of
the
the
Dragon's
year.
Breath. That,
There you go.
that
That was
was
play of the
Bottom
year
hero.
right there. What
I
was
just had everything.
that? Oh my
that
god.
was insane.
That is like, what did I just witness right there? Oh my god. Look at this wall Tessia puts down. He avoids the polymorph, and Tessia's like, okay, I'll go for it again. Gets another polymorph, deaths it. He's like, okay, I'll go for it again. And then he puts a wall down. Mel wants to run around
DB.
it. So Tessia's like, I'm not letting you get around this, bro. I'm the bouncer. Dragon's Breath. And he's like, you ain't getting into the club tonight, Matt. Knockback. You ain't getting into your Chanimal. He's going. Chan's like, oh god, I need to gate over there, which is really like 5-head. He drops down a gateway with Soulburn, but then he gates
You may have
into
to
a
RP in this
Snowdrift,
key.
and then he gets cloned at low health on pain suppression by
What does that
Tony.
mean?
So he can't recover at
Yeah,
all,
Moon
even though
Guard
Matt
thing.
comes out of the crowd control.
It means the tank's
Chan
Moon
has no
Guard.
trinket. His Dark Pact is gonna end.
I hope one of you is ready
and
to
then
strip.
Matt gets, or Chan gets knocked
I've
out
played
of
with a lot
line,
of
the opposite
players in
direction of
Moon Guard,
Matt. So
I've
Ultimate
never
Penance
seen
gets
any of them
casted here by
actually
Relza,
RP in it.
which adds an insane amount of damage, and Matt goes for the same play. He tried to
Yeah,
the
actually, I don't
Ultimate
think I
Penance,
have either.
but Chan gets knocked out of line.
I
Watch
actually
this. He
don't
goes for
really
Ultimate
see a
Penance,
lot of
Chan gets
actual
knocked.
RPM Moon Guard to
He's
begin
out of
with.
line of it, and he goes down as a result.
Guys don't go to the right places.
It's so good,
Oh
man.
my
That
God.
is
I'll ever
so
go on though for like
good.
the
Unbelievable,
pre-expansion
man.
events.
This is what I've been talking about. This is what I've been talking about. This is why
Yeah.
at the start, I think at the start when they picked up Tessia, I said those in the EU scene who know about Tessia, they know. This is not a guy who streams. This is not a guy that, you know, is all over the place in terms of like being online, but in the game, he is such an insane mage, and you can see it here. What an offensive play. He was the difference maker, in my opinion, in their last years in the lower bracket. Now they're up 2-0, but of course, got to shout out Tony and Relza here as well. This low Cyclone from Tony was absolutely amazing as well. Cloning the Dark Pact and the pain suppression. Relza loading up the damage, and honestly, Matt greeting it a little bit there. I think he should have just went for the Void Shift here, but of course, it's easy to say in this position. They think there's no more crowd control. Tessia gets his blast wave back, blasts him into the perfect spot right there, and they secure a 1-minute win against Echo. It's just not something that you ever see. What an insane game.
Yeah, normally no one beats Echo, but they don't beat Echo that fast. And now, I know, are they going to change? Because I feel like, honestly, they could play something different. Okay, they're bringing in a mage of their own. Raikou is going to be stepping in on the Frost Mage to defend his crown on that class, as Tessia is looking to overthrow it and place that crown on his own head here in this matchup. So this is probably going to be just as legendary as the last round here. But he's been practicing a lot of Feral, but he hasn't been switching to it. And interesting, I was watching Peekaboo stream last night, and he really feels like Feral is just more valuable than Rogue. And he was talking to Liquid and how Trill would be playing Feral if he had the reps. So in this situation with Waz, does he not think that he has the reps on it, or does he think the Rogue is still capable of finding wins in a situation like this? And now nobody's getting a perfect prediction.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting a perfect point out of
Oh,
this
I hit
series.
2K in that
Nobody
last
might even
dungeon.
get a right
Sweet.
prediction out of this. I don't even know
Oh,
what the chat
congrats.
right now is. If it's like 99%
We're getting my
to
hero-
Echo, the
re-hero
one guy in
piece
chat's like
at some point.
that went for Streamer Zone or something might actually
haven't
get
even
a huge
done a City of
payout on
Threats.
some chat points here. We're going to
They're
Tiger's
key.
Peak. Pretty neutral map. No map advantage, I really think, maybe even throughout the whole series between these teams. And I wonder if Raikou can keep up with the Ice Wall tech, because I don't feel like we've seen Raikou play with Ice Wall very much.
Raikou doesn't like Ice Wall. He doesn't
he
think
might
it's
regret
worth
that.
playing it. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's been in the past. I mean, Ice Wall.
You think he's picked it up?
I think. I don't know. I wonder if he's going to be playing concentrated
150
coolness or
minutes.
Master Shepherd or what. But I feel like right now it's Ring of Fire, it's Ice Wall, and it's Snowdrift. If you're not playing those three, you're kind of griefing. But we'll see here. Of course, Raikou being one of the most successful mages in this game, period. Definitely has a plan of his own here.
Then
we'll see what they decide to do here. It's Rogue Mage versus Feral Mage right now in game number 3.
Oh my god, I fell through a hole.
And Tony is leading the charge here
Damn
with a
it.
stun onto
Tessia
getting interrupted there on his mass polymorph.
Erratic
Double
kill
fear
for me.
coming out onto Tessia and Tony. And so far, it looks like nobody's really
You gotta
putting
use it
ahead here in the
immediately.
opener,
I
not
like-
finding any crowd control on the enemy healer.
Start it.
I don't like this. I already don't like this tank
This
either.
place was right on top
Not
of
that he was
Tessia.
there, so my
Immediately,
dad,
here
that
comes
was
a nice
my
wall.
fault.
Nice interrupt by Waz. He can't block for a moment. They fear Waz. Stalling the game, shifting power, resetting some cooldowns.
So
trying
like
to get to
either
that
pull
nice
all the way to the
next ice
spider
as
or
soon as
stop
possible.
before the
Double
bridge.
DB.
I don't
Gets
know
cheap
what this
shot
weird
knocked
nonsense
away.
of.
Not going to find it. And also, I think it was knocked out of his barrier. He's going to blink around the corner off to this side and look to reposition. Ring of Frost around the corner. Tessia snipes it.
What?
Raiku's out in the open, but Tony can't really get there. Big damage incoming from Waz.
Waiting for your-
He's going to get that ice block right away.
I don't know,
Rel's
Tony,
had
I
to trinket
fucked
as
up.
well in this setup. Down a block and a trinket. Echo.
It sometimes doesn't catch
control of
some
this
stuff.
kidney shot. Maybe they can just close it out.
Or it might have been
Echo
a
wants
cast, like
vengeance.
3 casts on you at the
Yeah,
same
Echo's
time.
starting to look like their former self here a little bit in game number 3. Ice Wall coming out potentially from Tessia. He fake casts the interrupt.
Waz is alone.
Isolated.
No,
Wow,
shit.
he's
Oh,
alone.
God.
Ultimate Menace coming out here from Reza once again. They're not
know why I
once again.
insinuated you,
Tessia
Jeff.
trying to make plays here.
I
Can't
don't
force
either.
out any big cooldowns. There's a Dragon's Breath mass polymorph coming
I
out
just
onto
saw low
Matt and
health.
Raikou, but it is on diminishing returns there onto Matt, but they get the back.
Like low
polymorph
health,
as
healing
well from
absorb,
Tony.
must
Not able
cleanse.
to force anything from Raikou there. They're playing defensive and another shadowy duel.
Holy
onto
shot,
Tessia.
go
He's gonna
Burr.
force the second ice block here. Was making an MVP play there with that shadowy duel, securing yet another big cooldown. That was right on Relza's Will of the Forsaken, so he got no value right there.
Setting up damage on Raikou, but Met is not in crowd control. Ultimate Penitence. Met is in the skies, raining down terror, looking to reset the
Wait,
game
does your
here
thing think
for
I got
his
hit
side.
by a
They're still
frontal?
so
'Cause
far
I
ahead.
absolutely
Really, I think
did not.
Waz is the only opening right now for that incarn. They need to live 20 more
Yeah, it
seconds
does.
to his incarn, but Raikou has icy veins. He's ramping up. Tessia's trying to get a snowdrift, but he can't stay on target. He blinks away.
If
Waz
I
is chasing
did,
him
then
down.
the
Tessia
game
blinks
is
away once
bugging
again.
out,
They're
'cause
trying to
I
control the
was
game.
definitely
Cyclone
not
Waz,
in any
polymorphs
of
on Raikou.
those.
Tessia are trying to stall.
Yeah, me
and
neither.
pause the game. Now
Visually.
they Cyclone Raikou. They're really doing whatever they can to try and prevent this next attack, but Waz Cloak of
A
Shadows
likely
aggressively.
story.
And it looks like Tony caught him
Stop
on his core with a
targeting
stun
me,
here,
holy
but it doesn't
shit.
matter. Raikou gets the polymorph. Tony's trying to
Fuck,
tear
I'm
into Waz,
bubbling.
but
You
Met is there
win.
to back him up. There's no way they're going to get any pressure here, and Met actually steals polymorph. He's still playing Thought Steal here in the grand finals, and that means Tessia can't use polymorph. Tony in trouble. Big
Vortexing
cheap shot,
them.
Meteor Comet Storm combo. Is it going to be a wombo? No, it
And
doesn't look like
he's
it. Tony
cutting them in a
survives the void
circle
shift
around the
from Relza, but
vortex,
that's
so
just
it's not doing
another major
anything
cooldown out of the
cool.
bank of Streamer Zone, and they don't have
What a
many left. Just
Chad
one more
tank.
It doesn't
pressure
seem like a
remains.
bad tank, or
Oh,
like,
you
you
get a full
know,
poly
it's
onto Matt. There's the
fine.
Dragon's Breath. Reza could
I
get a
just didn't
DR
actually
fear
need to
here as
press the
well.
button,
He's
I
moving in,
guess.
looking for the double, not able to find
Trinket
it.
swap?
With a
Oh, this is
defensive
his tank
advantage,
ult.
but that is going to be Tessia
He's
now
still
in
2300
huge
as a
trouble.
tank,
Nice
but he's
defensive
2700
cyclone
as
coming
deep
out right
swing.
there onto Tessia, or onto Waz, sorry, and Tessia gets the pain suppression
my
there
add-on
as
would've
well.
told me that
So
before,
last
but-
line of defense coming out here from Reza. They got absolutely nothing right now. Streamer Zone are on the run. Ice Wall from Tessia. He fake has to interrupt. He isolates his
He's
target
dead.
once again. Waz is just dead
Oh!
in that Ice Wall. Oh my goodness. The man manages to slip through the cracks there and get the void shift
He's
just
cloned.
in time, but
Waz!
Waz has nothing left. They got a full clone. Waz is just dead here potentially. Matt
Yeah,
manages
this-
to come
this
out
dude
with the
hurts,
trinket
yeah.
and pull
That
him back to
vortex.
safety. Matt is super low still though. Manages to fake us and interrupt Tessia, looking for the polymorph. Can he find a double fear connect? Tessia's overextended behind the pillar, and here
turn off
comes
her
Raikou, full
arachnophobia
ring of
mode
frost onto
over these
Relza.
crabs.
Tessia with the pain suppression. Is he gonna
Crabs
survive?
are great.
Another cheap shot coming in. Raikou gets the follow.
How is he
and I
dead?
think
It's
that is
very
it.
thematic,
How
I
is he
feel
still
like.
alive? Tony with the heals, but it's not gonna be enough. Echo takes game number 3, but that is about as close
I,
as
for
you can
one,
possibly
accept
get
our new
right there.
Void Crab
Waz
Overlords.
honestly got to thank his lucky stars that managed to get through that wall in time.
He paint something, man. He just died through paint suppression. That's what I was saying. How is he? You said how is he alive? I said how is he dead? Like how is he dead? Like he paint stuff that whole go.
That's why Jake
I was
got
like,
so
surely he's gonna live
pissed.
here. He snuck it in right before the Ring of Frost.
He had,
get a rapture powered shield and be okay. And
he had
just
that
wasn't.
mage
This is
that
where
just
they
ran
scared
through all
Waz,
the eggs.
living daylights
Oh, yeah.
out of Waz, because can you imagine?
And then
Streamer
blinked
Zone being
away.
3-0 up in the series. They wrap around the corner. And then they get Vortex back in line, and Mez like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, you guys are getting feared. I've had enough. I need a second. Let me get some heals. And then Tessia would, no, watch this. He paint suppressions right here. Paint suppression immediately. Right before he started taking damage. He's not at 100% health, but he dies through paint suppression and a DB on the rogue and in that instance. But the DB from Raikou as well, and the Relza extended it. a little bit longer. He could have maybe got a powered shield or something if anything had been broken there, but no one was in position to do it. And I mean, Raiku's technically like top damage, but I feel like wall is so insane. Like, if you get a good wall, it just wins the game. It's like a smoke bomb, basically, as far as its effectiveness. And Waz was so scared there, he smoke bombed himself, and then he got gripped out of his own bomb.
Speaking of smoke bombs, he got gripped out of his own bomb right there because just full panic mode. But it is, sure, the pain suppression is good, but Tessia already blinked in offensively, and he's playing that normal blink, so he's not able to blink any of those stuns. And on top of that, the Raikou extends the CC chain so long that the pain suppression actually falls off
that's the
there.
one
So
benefit of it.
pain suppression is
I
going
like
to last about the same length as that first Ring of Frost, but then after that Ring of Frost, there's a follow-up poly. During that follow-up poly, pain
I
suppression
didn't have all my
fades. You get the
CDs
DB
up.
as well out of that,
Whatever.
and it is close that they survived that one, but they kind of overextended a little bit there, chasing Waz after that grip. Obviously, looking back at it, it was such a close call, but I think they should have just respected it, maybe swapped over to Raikou there for a second, just to deny him the opportunity to kind of go for that crowd control. So, Streamer Zone, I like that they're playing with confidence. I like that they're playing as aggressively as possible, but it did punish them there a little bit towards the end of that one. But I really feel like that game was not going bad at all for Streamer Zone. It was really all about that opener where they just had to use so many cooldowns, and I think a big reason for that was that shadowy duel from Waz. But Echo, they're not feeling. They're afraid to lock in the RMP.
You're generally my.
Are they afraid of the BM Hunter of Kasu? Could that be what it is? Because they're going to be tagging in Chan here again.
I mean, it has to be something to do with Hunter, I would think. With this map, it had to be some type of jungle. I don't know, maybe if it's marksman or not. But Chan's coming back in, and he's been having a rough series. Normally, we don't see him pressured this heavily, right? Normally, he's like completely untouchable.
That's his first loss.
Yeah, his first loss the whole season.
Yeah,
the whole
on broadcast,
season.
On broadcast, he's been undefeated up until now, where he's lost 2 games against Streamer Zone. They finally made him bleed.
Yeah, normally he's completely untouchable. You don't see him dying in a minute. Normally he's the one that makes the other team give up on target.
Yeah, CDs.
So the fact that they could take 2 games killing him is very impressive on the side of Streamer Zone. And they've got Hook Point, which is a small map, so it's easier to get to Chanimal, but also it's easier for Waz to get around.
You know what Waz said after that game, after that second game? He said, "I'm okay with losing to Tessia if he's going to keep playing like this."
Feel for me, Reddit.
And about the Chan thing, Chan's record on broadcast before this series was 19-0. This guy is literally perfecting the region. He's just farming the whole region. You know, like how you go into a solo shuffle lobby and there's just one guy going 6-0. He's just doing that in competitive play. But finally, he's met somebody who can take him down.
If they're self-healing, like double dips or something.
I just want to see how much damage it would do.
You got halfway there. He was almost there, man. You got to restart the run. He has to restart the run at this point if he can get up there or not. Okay, let's see here. Chan's back in, but it looks dicey, man. Tessia is on fire. Tony is on fire. Relza are on fire. They want to show Echo that they are a match for them and that they can take them out here in Cup number 3, because hardly anybody has really been able to put them through their paces yet on broadcast. So let's see if they can manage to do it here. We're locked in, gates are open. Waz is immediately sprinting in, gets a sap onto the mage. Looks to swap that over. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Relza's in combat. He's going to open up on Tony, slow down his bleed application onto the Warlock with that cheap shot into a Psychic Scream, but a counterspell on Chan, immediately interrupting him on Tessia's part. Drops down the Blizzard, the Frozen Orb, looking to stack him up for some AoE. Tony jumps over towards Meh. Is he building up? He's going to go for a Maim stun. Tessia tries to get a ring. He can't. Goes for a Mass Poly. He can't. He's totally shut down. He tries to go for it again. Is he going to find it? He can't. Tessia just got totally shut down from that opening crowd control.
Yeah, they're really putting a lot
more
emphasis here. Oh my god, he finds the poly out of nowhere. Instant trinket coming out from Matt. That's going to be the... Oh my god, they mind control him as well, but the cheap shot that. But Chan is still not out of the woods yet, holding on to it. But look at Tessia pushing in for the snowdrift. He gets feared on it, but he manages to clip the snowdrift right at the edge there. Tony needs to get some follow-up here, though. Not able to find any cyclones, not able to find anything. But this is a great opener once again for Streamer Zone.
Some days I really regret sacking the tank.
Gets spell lock there for Tony, and that means Tessia now is going to have a great opportunity to just keep pushing in. I think he's actually playing Shimmer here as well. So he's going for a lot of crowd control here. Another Cyclone snuck in onto Meh, but Tessia is going to be the one on the back foot. Relza avoiding the fear from Chanimal. They find the full polymorph. Do they have the damage? Though Tessia seems to be the one on the back foot. Huge haunt connects. Oh my god, they overlapped the entire spell book right there.
That was a panic attack here. Waz is looking
I don't
to
have
punish it
enough
immediately.
stuff to
Shadow
stop.
stepping in on top of Relza and Tessia. Tony's into the pull. Chance sets up a fear. Relza dispels the UA.
alive, Jeff.
He takes a huge silent hit of
Stay
damage
alive,
as a
Andy.
result. He's desperately trying to cling to life here as Tony gets gripped back to the pillar. Ice wall. They line of sight wall. Oh,
I'm
can they
bubbling.
stun him? There's no stun. He triggered it immediately, and now they're in trouble. Will they be able to survive? Paint suppression's up onto Tony, but now he doesn't have that for Tessia, and Waz sees that opening. He steps over, kicks Frost. He's locked out into the cheap shot. Is
I guess I'm
Tessia going
just
to get
sending
dumped here? Chan
CDs.
is staying aggressive on top of Relza as well, and Mez looking for that ultimate penitence. Relza's going to get it off first, and Chan just ports out a line of sight, but that left Waz behind. Waz is isolated. He's taking all of the penance bolts by himself. Relza takes another huge hit of damage, but he's getting aggressive. He's pushing in on Meh. He sneaks in and gets a fear, forcing Will of Forsaken to think and punish him. He can't get out of a polymorph right now. If Tessia can sneak one in right here, they might be able to win, but Meh steals the polymorph away from him. He can't. Tessia's in trouble. It could be a second block. They're all over him. He's trying to blink and displaces, but he displaces right back into a cheap shot and has to ice block. Now he's got no ice blocks. He's playing with basically nothing. They overlap paint suppression. Meh gets caught. They caught him. They caught him. Can they? They have to win right here. They have to win right here, and now they're so far behind, but they can't keep the chain going. The Cyclone was maybe Tony. Maybe if they spell steal this shield off of Waz, maybe they can take him down if they swap the CC. They can't swap it. He jumps over, he bashes into Snowdrift, into Clone. Can Tony get back to a target and actually get some pressure off with this? Oh, the Shadow Step Kidney. How are you going to live this? Relza trinkets, but it's so much damage. Nice grip as Waz gets stunned. Tessia playing with nothing in this position. It's going to be a rocky road if it's going to be a victory for Streamer Zone at this point.
Yeah,
Andy on this fight. So I guess it targets the furthest person out, which I didn't know until last night. And you should be able to like lock, maybe not gate it, but maybe gate it, but like do your demonic teleport. And then I think you can meld it. Like it might go off, but do no damage. I don't know. I'm not sure on the specifics of the meld part, but it does something.
No more healing available for Relza out of that situation, and Echo will tie up the series. You can make Chan bleed, but can you really take him down? That's a different question.
It's like one of those villains in a movie where it's like you actually cause some damage to them and they just go like complete berserk. Like they're just not used to being hurt at all, and then it's time to go berserk mode. Echo now tie the series up 2-2, best of 7, grand finals for Europe.
I don't know why it went on me.
Like
There's no way.
Sweat in a grand finals up to this point, but obviously they're.
They also melded it. Didn't do anything. So
really
whatever.
Showed in the damage meter because I feel like in game 1, Tessia
I was lied to. I guess I don't know.
Damage.
Maybe I have to be in melee range. Maybe it's just a ranged player.
A lot lower, and you can see that shown on the cooldowns with Waz still having cloak, Meh still having.
Oh, I forgot to press my trinket. That's
at this
awkward.
point, still having void shift, still having done any resolve. So Tessia seems really hyper focused on control at the moment, but this game it felt like the damage fell behind in exchange for that. And honestly, I feel like the small map backfired on them. It looked very easy for Waz to navigate around this and get to his target. So
I will like sit my ass under this boss, and we'll see if we can get it to go on you.
Another small map. Honestly, they should focus on ice wall maps. So like we've seen Tessia on Dalaran use the ice wall really effectively, but against small map. So maybe like Mugambala. Something where Tessia can shine on that ice wall, I think is going to be important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he did get one really nasty ice wall here on this pillar, actually, where they are right now on the left side of that one, where they blocked out Waz by himself. But Meh master spelled that one, so heads up play from Meh as well, going for those MDs. Because you can remove the ice wall with the master spell. Not something that I like to share because I am an ice wall enjoyer myself, but you know, manages to get some value out of there and then pushes in for the fear. They don't have the will of the Forsaken, and at this point they don't have any defense. I really like that they're just focusing all out on offense. They had a really nice opportunity as well where Waz had no trinket and they got that double ring of frost, but the thought steal of Meh is actually such a clutch tool because when you play thought steal, you remove the mage's ability to polymorph.
I don't have anything for this to stop this guy.
Yeah,
no, does it remove mass polymorph too?
Yeah, I want to say yes. I actually don't know. I never play mass poly.
That works.
I'm 90% sure it does. But either way, it removes his opportunity to get the follow-up CC because that's what they would have needed in that situation. When they landed that double ring, he couldn't actually use the polymorph to follow up. So you can still use ring, but Tony's going to have to be the one who lands a Cyclone, or Relza's going to have to be the one who lands a Fear. He can't just polymorph into polymorph or ring into polymorph like he would have wanted to. So even defensively, even if Meh actually steals the poly and then never actually gets a poly off, it's still a really nice defensive tool to slow down the game, rotate back his trinket, rotate back defensive cooldowns.
All right, so they're going to go to Dalaran. They like this map for the ice walls. I think the waterfall also adds a little bit of element of RNG. Just a random pillar can come down that you can line an entire section of the box off, maybe like a quarter of the top box off. So I think this is a really clutch ice wall map, but it's also, I think, a pretty decent rogue map. So no guaranteed wins here. Streamer Zone need to keep up their aggression, keep up their perfect play like we saw in their earlier rounds if they really want to take Echo all of the way. The grand finals is a marathon, not a sprint, and maybe they're running out of steam now coming into game 5. They need to recharge, reload, and get ready because Echo are not making this easy.
All right, let's see. Dalaran Sewers here, Echo and Streamer Zone. I think that scoreline is a little bit wrong right there, but
definitely 2-2.
It's definitely 2-2 right now. Game number 5, and this is not a best of 7. This is this is not a best of 5. This is a best of 7. Excuse me. So whoever loses here is not out of the running just yet. It's gonna have to be 4 wins for either one of these teams to actually claim victory. But we are headed to the sewers. Another great map here for some ice wall plays. Let's see what they decide to do. Tessia blinking in immediately here with the shimmer, gets sapped on his blink. Tony opening up there. So Tessia wanted to blink in and get combat there, but Waz denies it. Opens up with a gouge onto Relza, who did get combat, and they're already slowing down this opener. Shanimal already getting the Soul Wrath and the big dots connecting. Tessia looking for the Snowdrift. Meh just avoiding that Snowdrift so expertly. Tessia's not going to be able to find it, but a nice knock though.
Wall? Is he going to wall the ramp? He's not going to go for the wall on the ramp. I thought he was going to lock him down there, but Chan's board's actually down there, so it wouldn't have done a lot. They do stun Chan, but Meh is in disguise, ultimate penitence. Oh, he ice walls the
oh, that's interesting.
Ultimate penitence, so he can't connect.
If I do proc my trinket,
cooldown, but he's taking so much damage.
It just doesn't heal the healing
absolutely
absorb.
Annihilated. Crazy pressure in the opener. First ice block's already out of the way. Tony's trying to turn things around.
It's supposed to do both, right? Like at the same time.
But Tessia gets gripped out by Relza. He's setting up the ultimate penitence into the sky defensively. Is it going to connect enough damage to really turn things around for his team? They're
trying to figure out what this FX wants from me
with this, but they're not forcing the trinket. They switch the pressure back into Chan. Tony is now just getting shredded. He's might be.
It's just like an amount of healing that person has to take to get rid of it.
For Cyclones, gets one on the Warlock. He's going to try and swap it. Snowdrift is down. Pre-barrier from Mel and the Snowdrift, but they knock him out and they're swapping to the healing.
But you'd think that my trinket would at least like do healing to the thing as well.
Barrier on the Snowdrift. Solar Eyes coming out, and Chan is ready to go.
Yes.
Let's see here. Chan now caught up in a
I mean, I kind of figured it'd be a little fucky because if for some reason doesn't
Chan,
count
what are you gonna do
healing
right now?
that I
Nice
do to people
Tessia.
that have the
Healing
debuff
himself and slowing down that
like
refollow polymorph. Relzak gets caught up in a fear, has to use the Will of Forsaken. Tessia still in a lot of trouble. Shadow do it for Waz, but he gets knocked away. Nice knock there as he blasts Waz a little bit here, and Chan being the target here a little bit more in the match.
They definitely forgot this
finally setting up a swap onto Waz. Big damage connecting there.
Oh fuck! There's a 4th one
right now to isolate Waz. Look at that damage coming in. Drops a Ring of Frost around the corner.
It's gonna be like a secret 5th one.
But not able to find it. Man, he tries to blast wave him.
Mythic Kill Jaden just spawns in the middle of the dungeon.
He had jumped at the same time as he got blast wave. He must have faded, I think, there to avoid that because that usually will hit a priest there and knock him into that Ring of Frost. But either way, man, stays out of that crowd control. Snowdrift coming out here once again. They're going after Waz with a rake stun onto him, but not able to find the pressure that they need. This is the Icy Veins and Power Infusion, so Tessia is fully powered up here to do damage.
Another spell lock on the Mass Poly. Nice ult time though. Tessia got big value there. Here comes the Han. Here comes the Coil. Waz is in position. How much damage do they have? Relza grips Tessia away. It's very scary. Double grip trying to get him behind the pillar, but he can't get him around the corner. It's still so low. He doesn't want to trade that second block. He manages to recover, and now a big push onto Waz. Meh uses pain suppression, soaking the hits. They swap off to Chan, punishing him with the maim stun, but Waz is there. He interrupts Tessia. Can they manage to turn this around? Mind control pulling Waz possibly off the side. Tessia looks for another polymorph. Waz and Chan are both in trouble. Waz trades Cloak of Shadows at critically low health at this point. May need to use a Hellstone as well. Double cheap shots coming through. Looking to get back to his team and really put pressure up onto Tessia, I think, at this point. Chan's looking to push forward. He's still kind of low. He gets locked out on a fear. Waz is still rotting down. Man needs to make a difficult choice here. Looks like he's deciding to try and pull away from the engagement. Tony looking for a Cyclone. Finds it. He has a Trinket Void Shift. I think it's going to be a Trinket Void Shift. They're greeting it. They're greeting it so long, but they get it. Trinket Void Shift in Streamer Zone. They're on the clock on mana, but they still have a chance to win.
Yeah, but they need to find something fast. The next CC chain could be the life of Waz. He has a trinket, but he has no kind of escape ability. But right now, Tony is in a lot of trouble. Tessia looking for a Ring of Frost. Man, he's just going to def and walk into it. Put himself on diminishing returns right there. Really heads up play. Here's the stun onto Waz. He wants to hold on to his trinket for a little bit later. They pull Waz back right there. And I really like the patience of Meh right there. Normally, as soon as you see that stun, you pull your rogue back, but he waits for the frostbite so it doesn't root the grip. Really, really nice play there by Meh. He fake has another interrupt there as well. The precognition is active for Meh as he blasts away with the penances, and it looks like they wanted to set up a swap onto Meh here, pushing for the snowdrift. I think they're going for Meh here. Nice preemptive reads by Meh though. They fear Tony here as well. They see the situation immediately and they punish on the side of Echo. Tessia could be in trouble as they continue this onslaught onto Tessia, but Tessia looking for the mass polymorph. He finds it onto Meh. Waz instantaneously pops the vanish there to avoid it, but he gets feared out of stealth. Nice double ring, knocks him into the ring as well. They continue to chain, but they need a cyclone, they need a fear, otherwise Waz potentially will recover here from the heels of Meh.
Barriers down from Relzon to Tony, looking to recover. Tessia
these fights are the exact wrong time. It's like 2 minutes on the dot. I'm not getting my second CD off.
Tons of damage coming through. Waz is getting in there. This could be the second block. He's staying on target. He's getting greedy. Trades on the second block. Now they can swap to Tony. Bark's getting pushed from him. He's looking for cyclones, but it's just so much damage. Chan is getting out of control. They at least cyclone him, but they need more time. Relzon can't recover. He's just coming out of a blind. He's got ultimate penitence in 1 more second.
Didn't win anything
to get this ultimate penitence off onto his whole team, but now he's into a kidney shot. Tony pre-bears. He's going to trinket void shift and look to try and get back.
Left. Oh man, I could have used that weapon.
Waz is relentless with this crowd
maybe
control.
he could have too.
The rot is real right now.
We'll never know.
Wall. Tony got walled off from his own team. He could go down. And Tessia blinks in, but it's too little, too late.
He had avoidance on it. That's like their abyss weapon, and he just rolled a hero one with avoidance. I mean, maybe he had a higher.
They're playing around these CC chains beautifully, and a little bit unlucky with that last wall. He tried to isolate Waz, but wasn't able to find it. He was caught up
Tony's like, what are you doing,
no man's land.
What are you doing? I'm over here, bro. Don't lock me out, dude. I don't want to be here with Waz, man. Why'd you do that to me? And Tessia panicked when he saw that.
Thank you guys for the keys.
Tried to knock him off the side. Look at this wall. It pushes Tony into enemy
No
territory.
worries.
You know what it is? Meh gripped Waz right there to the right side of the wall. Oh my god, that is insane. I gotta say, Meh, this game, there's so many small little things that he does that are just so clutch. It's the same thing with the grip earlier, and we can see this one more time.
Where's the wall?
They go with Tony, they get the void shift. Tony's looking fine, and then look at Tessia here.
I gotta go
he sets up for the ice wall here, right here, and then look what Meh does. Look right there, right there. He grips it, and that leap of faith from Meh actually.
Probably 30 minutes.
Actually, was it a grip or was it the wall that
bounced?
It was really